Hey, visibility hackers, and welcome to today's visibility check. I'm Coach Molly from visibilityhacking.com, and today is day 3 of Marley Jaxx week. Yeah! Day 3 is arguably my favorite day of the week because we dive into engagement. We talk about how we're building communities, how we're ascending people, how we're standing up as the attractive character, and how we're building a legacy. And impact and legacy is so important to Marley Jaxx and to me. That's why we're sisters from another mister, even though she has no idea. I sound kind of weird saying that, but stay with me here. Stay with me here. Today, we're talking about engagement. So we're going to look really specifically at a particular part or a particular engagement series that Marley put out there recently that I think you guys should check out as well, because it's something that we can all do, and we can all do on a kind of regular basis, which is exciting. So let's dive into our teaching room. Welcome back, day 3, Marley Jaxx week. I'm so excited. We're talking about engagement. So let's go through the framework. Shall we? We'll go through the engagement framework. All right, so we have 4 different categories in the visibility hacking engagement framework. We have our insider identity. What do our people call themselves? We have our places for connection. How do they connect to us and to each other? We talk about shaping experience, or giving our people the ability to actually control their environment and participate in shaping that experience. And we also talk about armor, the swag, and swag goes a little bit further than physical t-shirts, and we're going to talk about that today. So shall we get into it? First, we're going to talk about insider identity, and we don't really see this. We don't really have a name for Marley's people when they're out there. Marley has a name for herself. There's a name for the team collectively, but each of them is individuals. There isn't a name for them. So in Marley's world, they're Team Jaxx, but that's a team identity, which is great. It brings people together. It creates that community. It creates that cohesion, but we don't have the place for the individual to name and claim themselves. So the thing I want to talk about with today, the thing that's got me really jazzed up, is that when Marley turned 30 years old recently, which is shocking to me, she wanted to complete a 30-day challenge where she was doing 30 fun things before she turned 30 years old. And one of the things that she was doing involved donating to charities. Well, another thing she did was she bought some animals from World Wildlife Fund, which is close to my heart, so that's fantastic. She went and did crazy fun adventure type things that not only create content and get some generated views and engagement in that sense, but she also created a new level of identity for her people. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So specifically in this 30 fun things before she turns 30 series that we're talking about. So in that specifically, we don't have an identity for the people who are jumping into that challenge. We don't have a name for the people who are willing to take that 30 days and do it with Marley. And I say that because the next part of the framework is connection, where we're talking about how do we create a space and an opportunity for our people to talk to us, the attractive character, or to you, the attractive character. How do we build that two-way street so our people are feeling heard? And that feeds into shaping identity, but we'll talk about that in a moment. For connection, when we do challenges like that are either directly tied to our movement and to what we're putting out there into the world and to the tangible results we get our people, but we're also able to do challenges that feed into the attractive character, that place us as both the success, the attractive character, and that relatable character as well. And we do this through challenges where we see we see the moments where people get stuck. We see people reaching a breaking point, maybe. We see them pushing through things that are hard, and that's relatable to everyone that's watching. That's something that we all have experienced, that sense of failure, and what happens when you reach that point of doubting yourself, failing yourself. And we can also, of course, build in challenges that are solely just fun and speak to the level of values we have. So that's kind of cool. And the two-way street that we get from this kind of a challenge is the ability to invite our people to do this challenge with us. That's why I think it would be awesome if we had a named identity for those people. For just that 30-day experience, if you're willing to be part of this experience, if you're willing to follow along, to participate, to comment, whatever that spectrum of engagement looks like, you now take on this new identity because you are changing in who you are. And if we think of an identity ascension ladder, we have these micro steps for our people to take, and at each step, they take on a new identity. So building in that micro step of identity is so important. So this way, we're able to do the challenge with our community, and our community can participate with us. Going off of that, when we talk about giving our people the ability to shape the experience, what we're doing is asking them literally to help them generate ideas. So in Marley's case, when she put out her promo video, which was only a couple minutes long, that was promoting this 30 challenges in 30 days before she turns 30 situation, we actually see this raw, yes, it's Marley Jaxx, so it's edited, it's cinematic, it tells a beautiful story in many different layers. But what we see is that she's introducing her raw brainstorming session. She's going through and she's looking up different ideas. She's reading some articles that have some lists of things that you should do before you turn 30. Some of them she's totally pushing out of the possibility realm because they're just kind of boring, or she's already done them. Like building a snowman is not something exciting, especially for someone who grew up in Canada, where building snowmen is how Canadians make friends in the winter. Well, anyways, back to Marley. So she goes through this raw brainstorming session where she's picking out ideas that definitely don't fit the category. She's picking ones that are definitely closer to what she's looking for. That's framing the experience for your people. That's setting that value tone of these are the particular kinds of challenges we're looking for. She picks about 10 to 15 of them, and she looks at the camera and says, guys, we need like 30 of them, so I need your help generating ideas. That's going to create that first level of engagement. You're not actually asking people to be part of the process overall. You're not asking them to do the eco challenge, world's toughest race with you. All you're asking them is for an idea. This is going to give them the opportunity to shape that experience, but it's also psychologically going to give them that buy-in to the experience. That's going to give them that simple step to say, hey, this is low cost and I'm going to be able to actually participate. And when Marley goes through the ideas, or when you go through those generated ideas with your people, and you actually call out the names of the people who came up with these ideas, again, it's a psychological trigger. When we hear our names, we're able to come back to that experience. We're able to feel like we're part of it again. And I'm particularly wearing this shirt because I want to tell you a story about why calling people by name is so important. So in a past life, I used to teach rock climbing and adventure stuff. So I'd take people out on these massive adventures, and we'd help people process through a lot of mental challenges, those blocks that we get, those mindset blocks that we get. Sometimes we have difficulty working together in teams, and so we'd work with that. We talk about trust. We talk about self-reliance and understanding your own strength and how that contributes to a team and all of that kind of stuff. So sometimes we will push people a little bit too close to their panic zone where you actually freeze. And I've been there. I was on a training course and I just did not get along with the people in my group at all. I just didn't feel like I was part of that experience. And I ended up stuck at one part of the course, and I did not trust my group to help me, and I froze and I didn't know what to do. And I was starting to get into this panic zone because I'm 80 feet off the ground and there's nothing for me to hold on to but to haul myself back up this cable. And I was having difficulty doing that in the moment. But it was the moment my instructor, Matt, shout out to Matt, called me by my name. The second he said, "Hey, Molly, look at me." When he called out my name, I snapped back into being part of that experience. And I realized that I had that strength. I had the ability to shape my experience and change my situation. And if you think about that in terms of business, if you're giving people a tangible result, if you're helping people create the best video content possible, if you're helping people create more time freedom in their lives, whatever it is you do, that's the tangible result. And along that way, your people are going to get stuck. Your people are going to be stuck in the middle of the course, and they're going to have to haul themselves up through a tiny little rope. Whatever that is, that next step for them, they are going to reach that point. But if you can call them out, and if you can call them by name, even in a positive way where they're generating ideas, that's where you're going to have such impactful buy-in from them. So that's pretty cool. So helping people generate ideas is going to help them be part of the community again. So let's dive into armor. Armor. Love talking about this. So armor comes in both our shirts and our swags. We know that Marley has Team Jaxx. We've seen this before. Funnel Hacking Live. She was like an army with her people. That was really awesome. But we talk about shirts a little bit too much. So let's talk about one of the challenges Marley did as part of her 30 days. And that was to donate $30 to 30 different charities. And by doing this, she created a piece of great content where she's going through 30 different charities that speak to her values and speak to her heart as the attractive character. This is also inspiring your people to take that action as well. And it's speaking to a level of values for the community as a whole. So thinking about our armor, not just about the things that we put over our bodies, but also as the values that come from within us, we can really strengthen our people and strengthen our communities. So that's what I got for you guys today. This has been day 3 Marley Jaxx week here on the Visibility Check. I will see you in our next one. And until then, remember, I love you and be excellent to each other.